it's Nika here, Vet Tech Coach with vlog number 8. I am on vlog number 8. Yay! This is a really important vlog, by the way. This is something that has been, for me, the big picture with raising Ellie. And so, although I'm not going to talk about specific training techniques or styles or anything like that today, I'm going to talk about the big picture of raising a puppy. It's more than sit, down, come, and stay. Okay, so let's hop into vlog number 8, which is the new puppy schedule. Okay, so getting started, I think that it's really important, certainly for our puppies, to have a base level of skills that include sit and down and coming when called and walking nicely on a leash. I am on board with that. However, I also understand that there are many qualities that make what we humans call a good dog, right? So it's a dog that when you go to somebody else's house, they're not like all up in your face and constantly licking you or trying to get behind you on the sofa. They're just kind of chill. They're like, hey, yeah, will you pet me? Okay, if you won't, I'm just gonna go ahead and go lay down. Or I'm not gonna try to be escaping out of the yard all the time or pushing my way out of the door, right? So there are things that make a dog what we call a good dog that don't necessarily always have obedience underneath of it. I have so many people that call me for puppy class and they say, you know, well, my puppy already knows how to sit and down, so, you know, and I'm like, I get it, and although those skills are really good, life skills, I would argue, are even more important. How did that puppy integrate with your life? How does that puppy make you feel? How does it feel when you have guests come over? Does the puppy know how to settle? Is the dog fitting seamlessly in your home? So that being said, I decided that when I was raising Ellie that I was gonna kind of pick apart some of the recommendations of the experts in the field. And I was gonna also make my own sort of schedule for obedience things and life skills that I thought that I knew I needed in my own home. So, and socialization, we all know, is hard enough. And now socialization in a pandemic is sometimes more of a struggle, and some things are a little bit easier. But there's all kinds of things that go into actually raising a puppy that is way bigger than sit, down, come, and stay. Okay, so I made this grid, and although this was my sort of rough draft for raising Ellie, and it was a big picture for the family so that they could get involved in the training too. We all know, like, this is what I do for a living, and so sometimes they just like, oh, well, mom will do it, mom will do it, mom will do it. That's not unique to me. It is unique to me that I'm the trainer, so of course when something comes up, they certainly look to me, but moms are consistently getting, by the time 4, 5, 6 weeks come in, the newness has worn off. Nobody wants to interact with the puppy because the puppy's so ornery or biting all the time or whatever. Moms are getting the brunt of all of that and how to fix it. So I think that it's important from the very beginning to start with some really base level things. And even I made some mistakes in making this grid along the way. And my final draft, which was actually in a format that I could actually email out to people, looks even a little bit different than this, because I kind of knew that I was going to need to like wiggle some things around based on how she was doing with some of the training or some of the other things. So first week that we came home, I did that vlog video about bringing your puppy home and being prepared and all that stuff. So that first week, she was between 8 and 9 weeks when she was here. I thought that I was going to teach her sit and touch that very first week. I quickly learned that it probably would be important for her to actually know her name. So as you can see, I marked out sit and wrote in name because sit was less important at that point than learning her name. And for me, that first week, one of the life skills that I wanted to really hit home with her was going to the bathroom outside, right? I mean, potty training from the very beginning. This was our main focus, teaching her her name. Touch actually probably came a little bit later on in the week, but figuring out what potty spots she liked. I was pretty lucky. She was relatively easy to potty train, so that was awesome. The next category, the socialization category, I actually took from lots of different experts and broke it down into a weekly sort of chart so that I would stay on track, and my family too. I knew that as we moved through, the newness of having a puppy would wear off and it would become less important to everybody, and me included. It would kind of get shoved back a little bit on what types of things about giving her access to people, places, things, objects, substrates, smells, things like that. I knew that we would slowly start not doing what we needed to do. So their recommendations, by the time the puppy was 20 weeks, and this does not go all the way up to 20 weeks, that the puppy have 50 new places, I believe. I can't remember. Regardless, what I did was actually broke it down from 8 weeks to 20 weeks. And the math worked out to each week, Ellie needed to experience 2 new places. She needed to experience 5 new people. She needed to experience 2 new dogs and 5 new sights and sounds. So that really was a wide variety of things. And sometimes things repeated themselves, because look, if I expose her to something here at 8 weeks, it doesn't mean like, okay, I'm all done with that forever and ever. Okay, so yes, I said new. However, if I wait 4, 5, 6 weeks to introduce it again, it's still kind of new to her if she hasn't seen it in that long. Okay, so new places. So for us, this was the week that we brought our puppy home. So she experienced Nashville in a backpack. We went to Dr. Gruber's house for a little play date. And of course, home. Home was her new place. That was a new experience for her. She'd never been here before. Her new dogs really revolved around my own dogs for that week. We did have a boarder that week as well. And then of course she started puppy class, I believe like down here. Yes, puppy class. 5 new people, that was pretty easy that first week. Myself, my son, my husband, my daughter, my in-laws came over. It was a pandemic. It is a pandemic. It was a little bit challenging to meet 5 new people all the time, but I'll talk to you about some other ways that we can do that. 5 new sights and sounds. The vacuum, at least my vacuum was new to her. I know that she had some things exposed to her when she was with the breeder. The leaf blower, because I commonly use the leaf blower to blow out this garage or training center here. And of course, all the things in my house too, and we don't need to go over everything, but so that was kind of the socialization piece here. And moving through here, of course, puppy class, she at least got 1 new puppy each week coming to class. So I knew I was meeting the dog requirement. And the people requirement, I did have to really kind of seek out new opportunities. Now my neighbors were 1 new people that I had for one of the weeks. Like I have different sets of neighbors. We would certainly go to Ace Hardware, which was one of her new places, was Ace Hardware. Very few dogs go there, so I knew her risk was really low, even though she wasn't fully vaccinated here at 9 weeks, right? But I'm not gonna go to a dog park, I'm not gonna go to PetSmart, that sort of thing. So I use the employees there, and maybe some of the other customers there might have interacted with her. I also put in here, as the weeks went on, 2 groomings. And that doesn't mean like I fully bathed her and, cut her hair and everything. That means, like, did I brush her? Did I play with her ears? Did I maybe trim her nails this week? It's those activities more so than the actual whole process, right? So new dogs were met at puppy class, and new sights and sounds, I actually switched to the document form where I wasn't actually logging it on here. I don't know what they were that week, but now, so those kind of change as they go through, right? So each time I'm trying to introduce new things. So maybe when I go to Ace Hardware, I have her get on one of the carts or, interact with something at the store. So I could actually do 2 things at once. Other places that you can do during a pandemic: Lowe's, Ace Hardware, Tractor Supply, going through the drive-through of the bank or the, fast food, going through, get a car wash, there's all kinds of things, or someone's house, right? You can head over to someone's house. Now, the last thing, this daily category, was goals that I wanted to try to meet daily so that Ellie would grow up to be the good dog, right? So I practiced what I preached, right? 2 interactive meals daily. She was 8 weeks old. It was not a frozen Westpaw toy. It was maybe scattering food on the ground. And I also remember using plastic orange juice containers with a big wide mouth so the food easily fell out. So they weren't the frozen Kongs that I got into later, or the frozen Westpaw toys. They were pretty easy. And some of them were out of a bowl. Maybe I was hand feeding her out of the bowl. 2 training sessions daily. Those training sessions were literally no longer than 5 minutes, and they included a lot of play. So if you want to learn more about how to play with your puppy, go back to that vlog video where I talk about other ways that you can play with your puppy too. Those were still training. I'm still working on getting her to recall, getting her to drop the thing out of her mouth. And although it is playtime, it was also training time as well. And I got the family involved and tried to figure out things that they liked to do with her. And because I'm the dog trainer, I really tried not to micromanage them too much with that. So that's the other thing. For the parents of the group, I certainly try to lay some ground rules, but I do let them find their own little niche with that dog, as long as we're kind of following some basic rules like not jumping and biting at their clothes. And then of course, daily was sleeping in a pen or a crate. That actually was just nap time. We made the decision that first week or 2 that she was gonna sleep in bed with us, because I have found that when we very first come home, do I want great crate habits? You bet, you absolutely bet. And she's actually in a crate right over there right now, being very quiet. But I also know that I've taken them away from their warm pileup of siblings. I've taken them away from their mother. And so it's not realistic for me to put her in a crate in a different room, all lonesome by herself, even if I have a stack of blankets with her. So in the first week, we slept with her, slept in her bed, and of course she's very well crate trained and very quiet in her crate still. So, but I wanted her during the day when she was napping to maybe sleep in her playpen, which she did. And so a little bit of changes as we went through with the daily activities. I still did 2 interactive meals. I tried to log what they were. 2 training sessions, again, 2 to 5 minutes, and 2 chewing options. So bully stick, what kinds of toys did she like, making sure that I was exposing her to a lot of different things so I could figure out what does Ellie like. And what Ellie likes may be different from what another puppy likes, or from what my old dog liked, whatever, okay? But I'm also using this opportunity to condition her to where her toys are, and what toys are hers, and what things are not hers, like shoes that we leave out because we have children in the house. Those types of things, right? I don't ever want her to get those bad habits. Eventually, 3 or 4 weeks go by, I started adding in a couple of walks a day. These were not really walks, by the way. It was just exposing her to outside. So again, that may give me an opportunity for new sight and smell. There's a new house going up a couple of doors down, so there's activity down there that we can also go see. Literally 2 doors down, not a big deal. We did not do the full half-a-mile loop that I normally do, and well after she was here, so she'd be 15 weeks by the time I actually went all the way around. So it did change a little bit. The obedience is kind of the last thing that I really put a lot of focus into, because I knew that could come. But again, that first week it was name and touch. I had to change some things, so I did sit and down. That following week, started introducing relax on your mat, loose leash walking later, right? I had the luxury of not really having to take her out much on leash, but I wanted to be sure that there was no pulling, and I was really tuned in every time she was on that leash. Coming when called, getting her to phase 2 of relax on the mat. I've been working on some alert work with her to have her hear sounds for me and help me, and tricks as well, just for fun, those fun things. So I hope this gives you a really good kind of big picture of what it means and what it is to raise a good dog, right? Look at how small this is. Look at how small that category is. Look at how big this is. This is where you need to spend your time. The life skills, the socialization, and the daily things, making sure you're meeting those. So if you would like to have a copy of my document, which I'm sure will continue to change as I learn more and grow more and get to be involved with lots of different types of puppies, I may change this a little bit, but it does give you a really good, maybe bigger picture. And of course your dates are gonna be different and you can just jump in wherever. Let's say you get your puppy at, maybe they're already 10 weeks old, okay? Okay, so that bumps things up. Now it's 3 new places a week, 7 new people, I don't know. You know, you can just adjust. And if your puppy is fearful and you're struggling somewhere in here, okay, back off a little bit. We can always add more as we go on. It's more important to have really good interactions than interactions that are not so good or even fearful for the puppy, okay? So you can adjust this. This isn't obviously the law in any way, shape, or form, but if you hop in, just bump these up if you can, and try to do a little bit more. Maybe this will help your family start picking out things in your daily life that they can start to expose the puppy to, and help you meet these goals, help your entire family, and thus help the puppy meet these goals so that they grow up to be lovely little members of your family that just fit in like they have always been there. So I hope this helps you. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. Of course, like and share is always amazing for me. And again, reach out. My email, coach@vettechcoach.com. If you'd like a copy of this document, I'd be happy to share it with you. Hope you guys have a great week, and I look forward to next week. Bye.